Disney recently put out an album that many people like me, who love pop punk and Disney, have been wishing for forever, but never actually thought would happen. That album is, of course, A Whole New Sound, featuring 12 covers of classic Disney songs by big-time pop punk bands. But was it worth the decades of wishing? Let's break it down track by track and find out. The first song on the album is Part of Your World from The Little Mermaid, covered by New Found Glory, one of the biggest bands of all time in pop punk. The build-up in the intro and the verses sounds great. They certainly did make the song their own by using double-time drums in the chorus. To be honest, at first I didn't like this choice because I thought it took away from the power of the chorus, but then when they hit the back half of the chorus it drops back into standard timing, and that dynamic change makes that chorus ending hit that much harder, so I really do enjoy it overall. And they were able to carry that momentum through the rest of the song. Very solid stuff, 8 out of 10. Next up on the album is Remember Me from Coco, done by Mayday Parade. This is maybe the one I was most excited for when the tracklist was announced. I think they did a spectacular job with this song. It sounds full and emotional, and the guitar solo works incredibly well given how short the actual lyrics of the song are. I will admit part of me hoped this would be a stripped down piano version of the song like Miserable at best, but I totally understand why the full band will be involved in this case because it's specifically being made to be a pop punk song, not a ballad. They made it their own but still kept it familiar. Great take on the song, 9 out of 10. Song 3 is Can You Feel the Love Tonight from The Lion King, performed by Simple Plan. This was the first single released from the album. Honestly, if there was any band in the world I would 100% pick to be a part of this album, it would be Simple Plan. They have a long history with Disney and play every year at Epcot, and they're the perfect family-friendly pop-punk band, an absolutely perfect choice for this album. They also crushed this song with a perfect blend of dynamics and a final chorus that hits so hard and feels so anthemic. It's one of the best individual moments on the album. My only tiny complaint is that I wish they would have used the full 2-line chorus every time instead of just the last time in the song, but still overall another 9 out of 10. Next is Eye to Eye from a Goofy movie, covered by Magnolia Park. I love seeing a band like Magnolia Park on this album, a band that's smaller and newer than the legacy bands like Simple Plan and New Found Glory, but so talented and extremely deserving of this opportunity. To be honest, this song is untouchable. It sounds so full, so much energy, the perfect encapsulation of the original with a modern pop-punk edge. They turned this into an iconic pop-punk anthem, one of the few times that I have no nitpicky criticisms or anything. 10 out of 10, incredible job from Magnolia Park. Track 5 is A Whole New World from Aladdin, done by Yellowcard featuring Chrissy Costanza from Against the Current. Yellowcard is another band that I would immediately pick for this album. I know Ryan Key loves the Disney parks and is deep into Star Wars fandom in particular. I listen to his podcast Thank the Maker all the time. This cover does a perfect job of escalating the energy from verse to verse as it builds up line by line till it finally explodes with energy in that duetted chorus. My only wish, which I know is an extremely nitpicky note, is that I wish it was at a touch slower tempo just so the song would last a little longer since it comes in at just 2 minutes and 21 seconds. Still incredible though, 9 out of 10. The next song is Go the Distance from Hercules, done by We the Kings. Another obvious choice as a big-time legacy pop-punk band. This is one of the most iconic Disney anthems of all time. We the Kings does a solid job with it, but I just don't think their sound quite matches the song. This cover just doesn't bring the surge of energy, the fullness of sound, that anthemic quality that I was desperately wishing for from such a legendary song. I still enjoy it, I just think it could have been a little better. Overall, a 7 out of 10, our lowest rated song so far. Song 7 on the album is Surface Pressure from Encanto, covered by the Plain White T's. Unfortunately, this is the first song of the album that I think is truly a swing and a miss. The Plain White T's style just does not go with this song at all. The original song has so much rhythm and spectacular dynamics to it, but this cover sounds very flat and one-toned. It really sucks the life out of the song. I also surprisingly am not a fan of the mix on this recording either. Sounds a bit homemade and not in a good way. A song like Surface Pressure I think would have been a lot better with a band who could bring more energy and rhythm, maybe something almost like the bounciness of easycore like classic 4 Year Strong or Chunk No Captain Chunk. I wish they had another shot at this song because it deserves better, 3 out of 10. Track 8 is You Got a Friend in Me from Toy Story, performed by Meet Me at the Altar. This is another one that I thought really could have been done better. I do like the band's musical style, but the vocalist sounds like she's trying really hard to sound like she doesn't care. The words are slurred and mumbled in parts, and every line ends with a word that sounds cut off. So instead of You Got a Friend in Me, you get You Got a Friend in Me. She clearly has a great voice, she just needs to let it shine instead of trying so hard to overly stylize it. The song also feels very rushed at 1 minute and 52 seconds, 5 out of 10. Song 9 is You'll Be in My Heart from Tarzan, done by Boys Like Girls. I was nervous about this one because I loved Boys Like Girls back in the Great Escape era, but haven't really been a fan of anything they've done since. The successful You'll Be in My Heart rendition comes down to 3 aspects in my mind: the energy of the key change, the extended punch of the Now and Forevermore line, and the dual vocal lines with that background You'll Be Here in My Heart. Boys Like Girls nailed all 3, and the song as a whole has a really solid vibe, much better than I feared it might be, 8 out of 10. Track 10 is Colors of the Wind from Pocahontas, covered by Tokyo Hotel, who, to be honest, I had no idea were still a band. I haven't heard anything from them in well over a decade. Regardless, the energy they brought here is great, although kinda similar to We the Kings, the tone doesn't quite match what I'm looking for from an epic anthemic song like Colors of the Wind. It's a solid take, but not an extraordinary one, 7 out of 10. Track 11 is Let It Go from Frozen, performed by Lolo. I was really excited to see Lolo included in this album. She's part of that up-and-coming crop of pop-leaning pop punk and pop rock artists who are bringing a new and fresh energy and feel to the genre. She has a really solid take on a really iconic song here, although I will say I wish there was a little more power packed into the choruses to match the vibe from the original song a bit more. The final chorus brings it a little harder, but I think the drums could have hit a bit harder to give it just that extra punch I was looking for. Overall, still good, 7 out of 10. The final song of the album is Friend Like Me from Aladdin, covered by Bowling for Soup. This song was a perfect choice for Bowling for Soup, the vibes match perfectly. The band brings all of the solid guitar work and goofy voice pulls you'd expect from Bowling for Soup. It's not a song I'm going to listen to over and over, but it's a good time and a solid 7 out of 10. This puts the overall average ranking for the album as a whole at a 7.4 out of 10, with a few superstar songs propping up a few lower rankings. I think this album was a really fun and cool experiment for Disney to create, and I truly hope they do it again someday. Not right away, because this album deserves some room to breathe, but maybe in 3 or 4 years they can bring in a new group of bands and make another album full of Disney classics, because there are still so many great pop punk bands and tons of Disney songs that could be turned into elite pop punk covers. So let me know what you think of this album in the comments, and thanks for watching.